Hey, welcome everybody to Friday Night at the Crib. On the right-hand side, you'll see a link to join the show. I don't think we have a huge amount to talk about, so it'd be great to have anybody who'd like to join and talk about whatever their issues are in the game. And we can talk about Rampage Live. We're adding a 120 and a 121. What are we taking away? 121's adding weapon shards, which we're not sure what that means at this point. And we could talk about poor target design on the rapid assault. And we got a raid coming in 5 days or so. 4 or 5+ days, coming along. But feel free to join the show if you have anything that you want to talk about, design or whatever. And I will go ahead and introduce everybody from left to right on your YouTube screen. And we'll start with the Earth.
Hey guys, how's everybody?
And Magic Mike.
Hello, everybody.
Grimace.
What's up, y'all?
Father George.
I'm debating whether I should stay here if the Earth is here. Good evening, everybody.
And this is Hefe. I don't know. I'm not sure if you were there for the potential topics I had, George, but none of them were good. I don't really like any of these topics. I mean, the FM changes requires a lot of speculation as far as escalation of the FM targets. That's going to coincide with the release of Greta's Inferno Dragon, which we learned is not going to have a leather skin released, according to Rampage Live. But
yeah, I'll admit I didn't really get that, but whatever.
Well, if you ever see Greta, she has she's always wearing. It appears to be latex.
I got okay. The latex. I got you.
Okay, yeah, a latex skin would probably make more sense, but
like maybe she should have a riding crop or something, and yeah, I got you.
Yeah, but you're not going to put a riding crop on a ship, are you?
Maybe.
I mean that would be a great name for a weapon, something like that. But yeah, that's some possibilities. But and then I don't know. Does anybody have anything on the? I guess at this point it's just reckless speculation as far as what the FM is going to show us at this point, as far as the dropping of weapon shards, and then we're assuming since they're adding 2 targets, does that mean that they're going to drop 1, drop 2, drop none? I mean, at this point, we're just speculating. What?
I think we're going to take another screw-in, just like the last 2.
Yeah, it's a possibility because they don't seem to quite understand what's going on. But
they don't seem to want us to do it for free, so I'm expecting the 111 to go.
That's exactly my thought.
And the 89 as well.
Yeah, because one of them is supposed to be a blitz target, correct? Is it the one? I forget which one.
No, I thought they were adding 2 targets and a blitz target, or was the blitz target included in the 2 new targets?
Well, I guess none of them end in a 9, and normally a blitz target does end in a 9. So yeah, that's probably good speculation that we are getting 3 targets.
I mean, I understand, I guess, where some people, like, say you were out of town and you came in last minute and really thought you needed to get your FM done, so you might blitz it. But are most people really going to blitz the weekly?
I think there is a group that does it. I mean, there's people that just blitz the raids. They don't want to deal with it. They like playing the other parts of the game, generally PvP parts of the game. And they'll just blitz all the PvE stuff just so they can get the tech and do whatever.
I mean, I understand the raids more than I do with the weekly, because it's not like the weekly is really that time consuming if you have the right stuff.
Okay.
And I'm assuming if you're blitzing, you're going to have some pretty decent tech already. So
Yeah. Unless I don't know. I'm not one of those
unless
people.
they make it like maybe it's a 111 type target that you can blitz. But obviously, I guess no, that wouldn't make sense either because that would be too easy. But what I mean is something like a lower level that more people could do, and then you're paying.
I think, as I recall, it was only open to the Inferno Dragon.
Oh, that's right. He did say that.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how that he's in with that, but yeah, I don't know what the direction of things going right now are, but yeah, it could be 3 targets, and that means
Well,
they're
as
gonna
of
have
next month, he also said that the Inferno Dragon's going to be in the Forsaken mission, so they're expecting everybody to build them.
Yeah, I think so that they added the Inferno Dragon in the FM kind of makes sense, right? The only problem is where they're going to put it, because the people that need it certainly aren't going to be shooting for top tier, particularly if, and I said this when the FM first changed, there was no upper cap limit to costs in the FM the way they did it. And now that we have 2 new targets that are going to be worth more points, are we going to start seeing cost escalation? Or are we going to see, hey, you can, finish it in 3 hits, but you're going to be damaged up the ass? The third target's a blitz target. So, the only people that are going to care about that one is if they blitz. Mostly.
Yeah, well, we haven't seen the points to damage ratio on that one, so
yep.
Yeah, that could be. But it sounds like we're going to get 3 new targets.
Well, we're going to get 2 new regular targets, and then we're going to get a new blitz target.
So 3 new targets.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but the blitz is
what?
The blitz is a blitz target, though.
Yeah, but you could still gain points out of those. A lot of people during raids and other things, they use the blitz targets just to gain points. The 103 is a blitz target, right?
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. I never hit it.
The FM 103. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that's the one that's going away. I don't know. Or maybe well, I guess it doesn't have to end. I guess that's a good example. It doesn't have to end with a 9. That's just in the raid where they make it end with a 9 to indicate that it's a blitz target. So maybe, yeah. Maybe it's going to end with a 3. I don't know. But it just feels too early for them to start messing with the FM again.
That was my point.
We haven't even got the flagship yet. It's good that they announced it, but I really hope it's not. I think, well, they said July FM, right? He said July. So he's doing that. They're doing this right away.
Yep. That's what it sounded like.
Yeah, because he said July. So I'm assuming after the raid, we're going to start to see some new targets.
Well, they did it when the Inferno Dragon came out too, and I don't know.
And that went so well.
And now it's what?
I said, and that went so well.
Well, that's what I was going to say. We're still, players still are not happy with the FM the way it is, and we've had months to tweak it, and that hull has been the most tweaked hull that they've ever released by players, because they keep on changing crap. When they changed it the last time, the Mag 3 build that I had was doing phenomenally up until that last change, and I was like, okay, now I got to tweak this again. What the fuck? I'm getting tired of messing with my damn FM fleet.
Yeah, it shouldn't be this difficult. I just don't understand it. Because a lot of, like I mentioned before, a lot of players built their FM fleet and they, and then retune them and tune them based on when we were able to get the Inferno Dragon tokens for fairly cheap. And then they up the damage 3 or 4-fold, or maybe even more than that. Yeah, about 4-fold. And then they upped the price of the tokens, and people just been dealing with, a lot of people, not George, but a lot of people have just been dealing with the damage that they got. And it basically takes away from that participation in other parts of the game, TLCs, PvP, whatnot.
Oh yeah, I haven't. Hey, look, I haven't played in like 2 days because you know, I have so much shit damaged from trying, you know, different things in those TLCs and trying to get like a video out to help people and crap. And I mean, I got I got my Katie's and a bunch of other crap still repairing under a grease monkey, and I think I still have like 5 hours left. And I started it sometime yesterday morning. I don't know what the hell. I mean, it's ridiculous because that precludes me from doing anything at this point.
Yeah, and a lot of it, I mean, a lot of it I feel deals with, a lot of things we've seen recently, I think deals with poor target design. You know, because I feel that the transition of the FM targets, the high-end FM targets, was handled poorly. I think they upped the damage, they made some changes in order to prevent things like the Zealous taking place and, you know, taking a big role in some of those targets. And I know I talked to you, George, when, you know, before they were even released, as far as better target design methods and possibilities that they could use, but it felt like they just upped the damage, up some splash. You know, we'll just do more. We'll just do more and more and more in order to get this thing accomplished. And that's what I feel like they're doing with the current rapid assault. Is they're like, okay, well, we're going to try and keep out the Katie's, or make the Katie's not a free to, you know, a free haul to accomplish this TLC. And there was way easier ways to do it.
Yeah, I'm still not convinced that wasn't a screw up, because they did that same mistake in the other thing. And, you know, I've had some people like, oh, well, it's just so that it'll make you drive and pay attention. I'm like, no, you guys don't understand. It's a garrison turret and an assault target. That's not how it's supposed to work.
Attention. I mean, there's no, like, they don't get bigger and smaller. It's like, and they recommend the Manicore, which, you know, if you have it built for the raid currently, you don't have any anti-mortars on it, right?
Yeah, and or anti-rockets either.
Yeah.
And you know, and here's the catch. Like, I am absolutely livid on how the auto hull is working so far in this raid. I mean, this is a top tier, and actually, you know what, the 103 is actually a really good example on the map now too for the base parts. You know, I should not be able to auto better with the skill hull than with the auto hull. I mean, this is the top tier auto hull. You have all the top tech on it. You've invested all that time and the shipyard time and any coins that you spent to get the stuff out or tweak it. Or, I mean, there's investment here, and I'm not getting shit for my investment. In fact, I'm getting shit on for my investment. And it's the same thing with the Manicore. The auto hull is sucking it. It is not the auto hull at all. You know, and that, you know, there are some people that are like, oh, well, you know, maybe you gotta just refit it. And look, I was told at the beginning that I get to choose my path. Okay. And, you know, a lot of people, because of the way that the targets in the game now is so compartmentalized, you can't really go, well, you know, you can use it somewhere else. You really can't. It's either going to perform as it's supposed to be, as it was intended, or it's not. And it's not right now. And that's just not acceptable.
Yeah, but do they call it I think they got away from that term.
No, they referenced both the Buccaneer and I'm pretty sure this choice on the Manticore as the auto friendly version. Now,
well, yeah, the scattergun version is what he's talking about, but I don't know that they
called it the auto friendly. This month they called it the auto friendly version. Last month they actually called it the auto hull. And the catch is, you know, yeah, it's on auto, and yes, I'm going to take more damage than the missile hulls. But if the missile hulls are able to do the targets for 15 to 20 minutes of damage, I shouldn't be taking 3 hours of damage. I should take something comparable. Because a lot of times the people that choose the auto hull either have connection problems, or they have time constraints, or, heaven forbid, they want to do other things in the game other than just grind away on raid targets or map targets all day long.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And then when these things do come out into the map, people are like, well, it's the auto hull, da 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 da. I don't care. I know it's the auto hull. But you know what? And I'm glad some people are like, oh, well, I can do like 3 or 4 targets and then I can, you know, I'll have like 7 hours repair and I repair overnight. Awesome. What happens if you want to hit bases too? You can't repair 2 hulls at the same time overnight. What happens if you want to do your FM and hit bases and fucking do your TLC and get something on the, I mean, there's so much stuff to do now, and everything is so structured that you cannot have something come out and not work as intended. Not to this degree.
Agreed.
I got a question about those targets. Is it my imagination, or are there like buildings stacked on top of buildings? So like you kill one, you get a whole bunch of fireballs, and then you have to kill it a second time, and you get a whole bunch more fireballs.
Yeah, I have noticed the double release. Yeah.
Do you know which is it in all the targets?
Yeah,
I've only done prize pack. I've only finished prize pack 1, but I've noticed that you half kill some of the fireball buildings, and they'll release fireballs when they're half killed, and then they'll release them again when they die.
Mm-hmm.
It almost seems to me like it's almost like there's 2 buildings stacked on top of each other, the way it behaves. Like it's almost like you kill one and it releases, and then you kill it again and it releases again. That's kind of what it feels. I don't know, maybe it's not, maybe it's only the halfway point that it releases, but yeah, they're double releasing those fireballs.
The way I thought about it was the fact that we see like berserks associated with a certain armor level associated with the ship, you know, usually Reaver stuff.
Right.
And it releases at a certain armor damage level. And then maybe because they were trying to tune this for the mana core, it appears that they've increased the armor significantly on these targets. So maybe that berserk, quote unquote, is happening twice because they didn't look at the way that the origin of it, the way it was tuned originally, to go off at a certain damage level. And as opposed to having 2 of them, it's associated with the amount of armor that's been damaged associated with it. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, it could go either way. But I'm assuming that sort of works with the way the game mechanics are supposed to work, at least as far as, if I'm correct in assuming that's a berserk when it does that.
Yeah, that makes sense. It could be that way for sure.
So I don't know. We'll see, but it doesn't make sense. I mean, combining the cold snaps and all the fireballs just appears to be getting rid of the Cadies. Is what they're supposed to do. But you could get rid of the Cadies by,
you know,
up in the damage on the clouds significantly, and putting the clouds in a way where the drones don't fit through what you're supposed to drive through at some point.
Or just this thing. Just go no Cadies. It's not hard.
Yeah, but people don't like that. But yeah, I mean, just make it difficult. Don't kill the whole Cadies, but just even out the damage for the Cadies by doing something like that, creating a gauntlet that's going to kill off several layers of drones and get the damage levels where they want to if you're going to use the Cadies. But don't fuck over everybody else. I don't know. That was just my thought on it. Go ahead, people. I talk too much.
No.
Go and get a beer.
You know, the funny thing is my Cadies actually does have gales on it where my Manties don't. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but it's crazy, really. You know, if that's the case, if you don't want the Cadies going in there, just block it out the target. You know, instead of people trying to put it in there because it says that you can take it in there, and then getting a day and a half repair because people are just going to get pissed, and rightly so.
Yeah.
You know, just block it in the first place, all right, people are going to be pissed, but they're not going to have a day and a half of repair and still be pissed.
Well, and the other thing is a lot of people in the last couple of months have actually been getting their Cadies and starting to build it. And, you know, I'm sure they have the numbers to see how many people have gone from like last year's cycle to this year's cycle that have the Cadies. And if, you know, if that number is significant, you really kind of don't want to negate the Cadies entirely, because then you're going to have a lot of pissed off pirates.
Well, there's that, but also, I mean, you know, making it so that it can't be used in this TLC when the people who won the event last, you know, the big event last month where they give away Cadies to various people, you know, those people are going to be pissed as well, because they're like, well, why did I go and get, you know, 6.5 billion points just to get a Cadies, and now I put it in the target in the TLC and it dies.
And you know what? Yeah, and you know what? The thing is too is, as a company, I don't know that you want to devalue your merchandise like that. I mean, because that's just going to like increase the trust deficit that you already have a problem with. You know, if someone's been busting their ass, and like I know people that have been just nonstop hitting 85s just to collect shards, you know, because they missed the first time when it first came out and you could get like half of the shards. I mean, I missed it. A whole lot of people missed it. And they've been busting ass trying to get it, and you know, just got it, or you know, they saw that they've been working in the A target. So between the first and second, or the second and the third, they're starting to spend their shipyard time on that. And now you're gonna go, hey, you know what? How's this? We're gonna screw the Cadies over. And on top of that, not only that, but you're gonna get a Proto Apollo soon to do the SSRB, so it's gonna be worthless in that. And then the TLCs that are going to come out are going to be just like the ones that we're getting now, that they're kind of tuned more towards the proto hulls. So you're going to get screwed on that and anything that you built for this raid. I mean, this is getting fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, agreed on all counts.
Yeah, because I'm kind of pissed, because I've built the Buccaneer. I've got a full fleet of Bucks. I've got a full fleet of Hydras. You know, why do I want to build Protosense now just to go and get base parts to hit the SSRBs? You know, to have just finished that cycle, and then in the current cycle that we're in, to then have another siege hull as a fucking top prize in it is just kind of a bit deflating.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm annoyed that, I mean, I'm annoyed that, you know, hell, my auto hull sucks, and you know, I use the auto hulls a lot. Like, I mean, I know everyone's like, oh, you auto everything. I really don't know how to auto everything. I like the fact that I can, if I choose to, right? But there's got to be a value there for me to do it. Otherwise, I'm either A, not going to do whatever the hell I'm doing, or whatever they want me to do, or B, I'll drive it. And you know, yeah, maybe. The only thing that I think that I'm refusing to actually use at all is the fang tooths. I'm just so fucking tired of subs and try and drive those things. I just but the catch is like, you've always had a decent return for the auto hull, and now like they're getting away from it, even though they have an app that, you know, you kind of auto when you use it. So what the hell? Why'd you even bother making the app?
Well, yeah, I mean, are they hoping that because people have got the opportunity to use the app when they're, you know, when they've got 5 minutes, they can go and auto some titanium that they wouldn't otherwise, but then up the damage so they earning a little bit more. It's just squeezing people a little bit more. But you know, to me, that app is useless really, because I just don't accept the damages that, you know, things that they expect me to take.
Yeah, well, and that's exactly the point, though. Is like, you know, yeah, I have the app and it's awesome. I have the opportunity to, you know, maybe go and auto some stuff, but hell, you got to be able to auto the stuff. I mean, I know some people that you know, saw the video of me auto on the 103 with the hydras, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna throw my hydras in there, not realizing, you know, my fleet is built to auto, and they're like, I got like 5 hours or something damage and like all pissed off at me, and I'm like, dude, I showed the build at the end of the video, you know, And then I got like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 people that were just pissed that I didn't put up a Huggies link. And I'm like, man, look, I did the build, I did the video for y'all, put it out. I showed the the build, but man, I haven't touched that build since the raid set. I don't have a Huggies link for it. And if I got to go through it to make a Huggies link, I mean, you can do that too. I don't know why I'm getting the hate mail. I'm like, holy crap. One guy was like, well, I'm on my phone. I'm like, okay, so I'm on my phone too. You take a snapshot, you zoom in on it, all good. If you can see a video, if you can see a video on your phone, you can take a snapshot. Yeah, or that. I mean, like
people give us crap for trying to help them out. Like, if you don't like it,
I don't mind helping out, but something like that, I can understand some people asking for it every once in a while. Yeah, if I have it, I'll throw it up. If I don't, I won't. But to get pissed enough to send me a message and be like, why the fuck?
But it's one person. It's not really worth talking about here. So we've run through the FM. Have we run through the current targets?
Yeah.
What about the current the rapid assault? Have we talked enough about the fact that, is it just me, or does it feel like the raid is coming faster than it should, or is it just a me issue?
I think the because it feels like it. I think it feels like that to everybody. Like, oh my god, we have another raid already. And I think part of the problem. Overload. Yeah, well, part of it's content overload. I think part of it though is that, in the past we've been able to do the raid and then kind of relax in between the raids. And now we have the raids, and then we have, the VXP weekends are not really VXP weekends, they're VXP day and a halves, and you got to figure out how to do this crap. And then, the amount of, I think it's just like the overwhelming amount of damage overall. It's not like a single individual thing. It's just a cumulative effect. And you're kind of looking at this and looking at that, and you feel rushed nonstop now because, you got to do a TLC, and then you have the FM, and you have an event, and you have, damage that you got to repair here, here, and here. And I'm still trying to, fit my Manti stimulus. I mean, there's so much crap that you've got to do concurrently now. You really don't have a chance to sit and just fucking enjoy the game.
Well, and we've talked about this. At least I've been talking about this. Is the way that they've been. Like this week, we have one basic TLC that we could prioritize. This week is easy as far as like telling people what that are watching. Like, what do you do this week? What is the priority this week? And I think this week it's obvious that get your FM done. It should be an relatively easy FM relative to the one 2 weeks ago. And we don't have to deal with bounty. You don't have to deal with the raid. You don't have to deal with anything else. But yeah, we only have one relevant TLC to do, as opposed to like last week, they had multiple relevant TLCs we had to deal with, and the bounty. I'm not happy with the way that they've been sort of stacking. We have a raid week, which is obviously is intensive as far as things go. Then we have the bounty week. Okay, I'm sorry. I skipped a week. We have the raid week, which is intensive. Then we have VXP weekend, which had multiple TLCs that most players felt that they needed to accomplish. And then we have the bounty week, which had multiple TLCs that players, near the top felt they needed to accomplish. And now this week, we basically have no other activity, but we have one TLC that we feel like we need to accomplish with a relatively easy FM to collect the technology that we would want to advance. It just feels like it feels like they should space this out a little bit in my mind.
Well, it's not just that though, is it? I mean, it's a cumulative effect of everything because oh hell, I don't even know how the hell to say this fucking name. M. Strady. I don't know. In chat, he's like, we raid and then we have to build a proto fleet, and that's the other catch is like we have other fleets now that are coming up just to do fucking chores, And it's like, okay, there's already shipyard pressure for whatever you want to do, right? And then somehow you've got to then go, okay, well, if I want to make my life easier, I got to get these proto fleets out because, you know, we're screwed. We can't use the actual hulls that were supposed to be good for a year in these targets because you get boned, right? So, okay, let's try and get this proto fleet out. But then what are you doing first? Do you want to refit this or do you want to do this? I mean, it's like I said, it's just like nonstop pressure in the game, and you don't have a chance to just sit, breathe, and enjoy the game anymore.
Yeah, or even
it's on multiple levels. That's the problem.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, and I was going to bring up the proto thing at some point soon because that's part of the TLCs that I'm talking about that occur during VXP weekend and during Bounty. Is these new proto fleets you're getting relief on your dock associated with them, but you also have these other activities that are going on. We don't have those right now, right?
So,
we have some a few mana core tokens, and then that's it. We
Well, it would have made sense for them to put it in this week rather than in during Bounty.
And they keep on doing this. They keep on doing this. This is the way they do it, and it's. I find it frustrating because I'm not. It's not that I'm taking too much damage on some of these targets. I'm just not going to spend the time to do these targets, and because there's so much going on, raid, then VXP weekend. VXP weekend is just a damage thing. Yes, that's true. But then bounty, that's a time investment combined with multiple TLCs that you feel like you need to be accomplishing. But they shouldn't be stacking them all on top of each other. This should week 3, where we don't have any of those other things going on. This should be the week where we're getting high on, not getting high on, but we're getting we're getting a high level of TLCs. Not these previous weeks. This is a light week for TLCs. It's a light week for the FM. It's not a bounty weekend. It's not a VXP weekend. And I guess it's sort of a week off, but I would rather have something a little bit more consistent as far as both the level of effort, how much time you need to spend, and how much damage you're taking. It just appears that they don't understand that part of it, in my mind.
Or they do, and they actually want to release those things during, pressure points so people coin more. And, that's going to go back to, I understand they want to monetize the game and monetize this and that, but damn, there's a really simple thing here. It's a game, and if people enjoy the game, they're going to spend. I mean, there was a point where they were making millions just from people wanting to hit each other. I mean, come on.
And they and people wanted to do the FM, even if they were different. It was like, how can we figure this out? Now there's so much stuff going on that they didn't even bother trying to figure it out. I mean, there's so many players that they just probably the ones they like are just quitting it. Well, and then there's a lot of them that are like, they grind through it and don't like it. That's another group. And there's other ones where like, I'll do a little bit, and then I'm like, fuck this. I'm not going to spend the money or time to do this. So they need to figure out a balance week to week across the month in order to bring in all the players, at least in my mind.
Yeah. And I mean, the other thing that I think they've lost, and I have tried to bring this up in the past, is that a lot of players, at least they used to, I don't know if they stuck around since all this the compartmentalization and stuff, but a lot of players like figuring stuff out. And it's not just hey, figure out the target. It's a puzzle thing. I mean, yeah, that's fun too, but there's also the, hey, what weird combination or what combination can I come up with that's going to shave off just a little bit of time, right? I mean, there was this, not this FM, but the last FM. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people remember me and Caesar were going back and forth trying to just do like crazy shit in the FM. And we were coming up with some great stuff, and it was fun. I had a blast during that time. And yeah, I was spending coin, and I was freaking blowing tokens, and I was doing all sorts of crazy crap, but
Yeah,
I was enjoying it.
Me and you were going at it as well, so you could beat each other.
Oh yeah, on a couple of things, yeah, because he was trying to do he was doing the conquerors and stuff, and I mean, but the thing is when I had enjoyment, I was willing to spend. Now the FM has me so fucking frustrated. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just keep an eye on it, and I'm just gonna kind of, push through it. But if I figure out a way to break that damn thing, I'm gonna fuck it up. You know what I mean? Just like last bounty. I mean, it's gotten so frustrating for people and stuff that when they did something really dumb, and it was obvious, we're gonna kind of make a point here, and I hope that they figured it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, after it seems like after she put a few pounds on, you're not willing to spend anymore, are you?
I think it went from a few pounds to several hundred, and brought in their, crackhead stepsister and cousin to share the spare bedroom or something. I don't know, man. It's I like, and I know I'm coming off like I am really frustrated. I am very, very frustrated right now with the game.
Mm-hmm.
And what's I think more frustrating than anything else is the damn thing still has a lot of potential if they would just stop trying to overdo everything.
Yeah. I mean, I brought up, well, let me before it goes away. Captain Black Eye's BP school. I'm not sure where. It's probably not an accredited university. It's my guess, but he wants to know about what CMs to put on the mana core after the change to the countermeasures.
Fuck all if I know, man.
Yeah.
I mean, my gut reaction is if they've really fixed it, phalanxes by the numbers should work better than anything else. If they say they fixed it, but they really haven't, who the fuck knows at that point? I mean, someone I'm sure is going to figure it out at some point and try and crank them out. I mean, I'm still trying to get out my missile mana cores, and I'm going to be shy a hull. So, I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, as far as anybody had any experience like hitting the VXP targets? Because what we saw in the last, because I'm wondering when they made the countermeasure changes. It appeared that they made it like Saturday during the last raid. As far as what happened to the sprints, or is that another thing? Is that something separate?
I don't know.
That the sprint stopped working as well as they did previously, and now the phalanx is the best thing to use. And it's confusing because they didn't say, they told us they were going to make this change in the future, but not that, it was like they were going to make that change in 2 weeks. But it appeared that they made that change during the raid and didn't tell anybody.
I don't know. I mean, I was kind of annoyed during the raid because of the amount of damage I was taking on my fleet.
Mm-hmm.
So what I just went in and I'd auto like 2 or 3 targets and then go repair it and then I'd go do something else. I wouldn't even play the game. Like I was not on the game. Every time crap like that happens, I kind of walk away from the game. I mean, it's just too. If I'm not having fun, I'm going to do the bare minimum just so I can keep up and hope that it gets better. And right now, it doesn't look like it's getting better. I mean, can we talk about bounty? Because I have a litany of things that I wanted to ideas to float.
Let's talk about bounty.
Yeah, can we? Because I'm gonna list you guys.
I'll go get another beer.
Yeah, you guys get another beer, and I want to know. I'm like in chat. Someone watch chat because I want to hear, ideas from other people. But we were talking about some ways to what happened with last bounty and how it was compared to the one before it, and we keep on referencing bounty 7 and all of the stuff. And I came up with a couple of things that, if I were to be able to pick what I would want changed, there's a couple of things that I'd like to. I would still think the best option for having bounty in the economy is to limit how much you can bank. Like you can still bank because I know that's way popular. So you don't want to take that out, but you can't bank 100% because then that leaves the economy with nothing. And it leads to other issues when you try and correct for that, right? So instead of making everything all complex, just be like, okay, first one's 90%, second one's 80, third one's 75, and you just kind of go down the line. And then, you know, people like, well, you know, that like some people are saying they added that, you know, guaranteed amount because people were playing with flat bases. Well, that's kind of in my mind. I'm like, you know what? They can make your bubble pop when you hit a base. Well, just so people can't, you know, take advantage of like a mechanic like that, you don't give the guaranteed amount. But if you hit a second base after the first one, after you've been hit, your bubble pops, the second base will make you start automatically repairing. So that way you can't just sit there and, you know, hit like 30 bases while you're flat, right? The auto bank too, I think, you know, it's great that we can bank at 10, but I mean, I was taking full advantage of that crap. I think that one's got to go progressive as well, like maybe 10, 15, 15, 20 each day, something like that. So it's a little bit harder and there's more bounty in the economy because we kind of want it to stay a fluid economy, not a static one, because you want to be able to get people to hit, you know? And then the base defense, like people are damage adverse. Mike's a good example. Like he doesn't want to do crap if he's damaged or anything else, or he wants everything repaired. Man, the defense hulls take so damn long to build, and they take so long to fucking repair. Just limit it to, you know what? 2 coins, 1 hour repair, no matter what the hell you have in your base guard. If it's in that slot, it starts repairing automatically. It's an hour repair tops. And if you want to coin it, it's just 2 damn coins. So people will actually sit there and coin that guard back out and then go pop their bubble because they're not going to care. They at least have a chance to not get smashed for easy, you know, bounty, right? And then I had another person that messaged me about griefing. Like they kept on getting hit all the time. And I was like, okay, look, man, if you pop your bubble because you're taking advantage of something, then yeah, I can understand it. But if that's really an issue, like I'm not sure how much griefing is going on or if people are getting like just completely smashed nonstop at lower levels. But if that's the case, in the store, throw in a jump for, you know, like 500 bounty that you can buy right then and there and jump, get the hell out of the world. No one's going to chase you around everywhere unless you're a complete utter dick, right? And then the last one was the OP upgrades, because you can set up that OP to take 4 minutes to kill. Fuck that shit. Rebalance those or just get rid of them. That's the ones that I could come up with. So I want to hear more. Like, what other ideas do people have? What really bothered you guys in bounty? Like anything. I mean, chat too.
See, I think in bounty, all of what you've said is very, very valid. You know, there's a lot of the lower levels were getting shat on a bit, but you know, if you get hit, go and hit some of the opponent bases. But again, the opponent bases, a lot of the lower ones had the vanquishers in, which people can't.
Oh
take.
yeah, that was when
the
I
lower
forgot.
the lower level ones.
Yeah, get rid of them motherfucking things.
Take the fucking guards out.
Yeah, or not need to kill it. Something.
But, yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I think they should just pull the guards. Period.
I think they should have left the guards out.
Yeah, agreed.
I really do.
So yeah, I mean that's one thing that I would say is a definite thing that they need to do, and I think if they want things to progress with PvP, get more people into it, more people hitting. I think that they've got it set up already for the PvP queue and bounty. Transfer it into the whole of the game and just allow people to get into it, because you're setting so many chores up and now you're expecting people to take damage doing every single one of those chores. A lot of people aren't getting into PvP purely for the fact that they haven't got the repair time to do it. So, just put it in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. There's yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know that there's a lot of people that, because I enjoy doing bounty, and for the most part I hit bases because I just don't have the time to sit and farm opponent bases. Now this last one was a little bit different, but But I get a lot of email with players that are just frustrated and trying to figure out why they're actually frustrated and then get to the root cause sometimes is difficult.
The root cause of everybody's frustration is the fact that there's too much to do. We're expected to take damage on everything now, whereas beforehand you used to be able to use your skill and use your sense in the game and make sure that your build was good enough so that you didn't take damage, to minimize those repairs, to enable you to be able to do all of the things that were required and be able to go and do PvP. Whereas now you're expected to take damage on this, you're expected to take damage on that. It all adds up. There's more damage in your dock, less time for PvP, and that's why PvP is still dying, even though you've got bounty. It works for bounty, and that's it, and then it just dies off.
I mean, they still have to fix PvP. I mean, you know, I don't know if they realized, and I was trying to make it really clear before they started changing stuff again. It's not just the turrets that had broken bounty. broken PvP. I mean, PvP was just unbalanced. It still is just. It's not that it's not unbalanced. It's just, it's binary. It's very, very binary. And, you know, there's only a couple of ways that you can actually approach it, which sucks because, you know, it's just not the way it used to be.
Can you back up just a little bit?
Go.
I can't really. I'm not a aficionado of PvP, as people know, but building things that you can use to do chores and whatnot and take little damage or quick repairs, things like that. You know, that's me. In the past, I would buy tokens, I would spend money and do things like that, so I didn't have to do it in the repairs. And they've pretty much taken that kind of away.
So
it's a pay me now and pay me later.
Yes. Now this is something that I spoke to with Boba Fett a lot, because he's really adamant about, hey, you know what? I'm willing to coin to get my crap out and play with it and stuff, but here's the catch. I paid for it early so I could play with it. And now not only do I have to pay for it early to play with it, but even if I pay for it early and get it out before everyone else, I'm still paying for it to use it.
That's
which
my position.
Is asinine. And that's a really good point.
Because the top end product is not that good.
Right. It's not top end anymore. It's just mediocre at best, which is stupid. Yep. And it's a really, really good point.
So I stopped buying tokens, even though they're even slashing them a little bit better than they used to. I stopped buying those in February because of the pay me now, pay me later. So I'm kind of just doing things slow now, and whatever I can get from FMs. And
it's like turned into pay me all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
Yeah. And I understand that. And how much do you think, because I look at these shows, you know, I don't provide builds and whatnot on these shows. We just more talk about the game as far as some of the mechanics associated with it, and like how those mechanics matter to, you know, especially the mechanics that are misunderstood by a lot of players, like how to build your whatever you're doing better. But how much has the rise of these shows and videos and whatnot created a situation that Kixeye is now like, well, yeah, they're going to figure it out. They're going to tell each other. So we're just going to put out automatic damage for everything because they're going to figure it out. And it's too much work to keep up with the community. The community is going to overcome what they do, what we do as far as design. And so we're going to be lazy and we're just going to be like, okay, you're going to take damage no matter what, because the players are going to know faster than they did before. Before it was spread by just players talking to players, or then it was alliances. And now it's, you know, YouTube shows and whatnot, where people are telling them like, okay, this is how to, you know, you can do it for 0 damage if you do this.
The thing is, though, that's a bad way to look at it because, you know, people are going to figure it out. People are going to share. It's the nature of what we do. But, you know, if people are saving time doing those chores, which everybody's got to do, and then they're going to have that time to do PvP, which is what they really want us to do and what generates the most amount of money. So, you know, people don't want to spend on chores. They want to spend doing something that's fun, not chores. So let everybody share to do the chores for free so that they'll spend doing the stuff that they want to do, which is the PvP.
Well, now see, the question though is, have they, because of all the PvE, now shifted where they make the most money to? Because to transition back to that would mean that you'd have to take a hit just to get people used to and trusting that you know they can concentrate on what they want instead. And then excuse me, the other question is, have they driven away all the players that used to spend a lot on PvP, or are they still out there just refusing to spend? Right, I know there's a lot of players that, I mean, I talked to one guy but just last night, he used to spend $100 a month. He spends I think he said it was like 10, that he'll max out at 10 a month now. And he used to do a lot of PvP, but even now with the PvE stuff, he's like, he just doesn't want to spend because he's not getting a value for the amount that he's spending. Like because, you know, we've all been playing this for years now. And so we have historical context that you know, a lot of people, I guess, at Kickside don't, because, you know, they move around to different departments, whatever, or leave. And, you know, we have kind of an idea of a general idea of what we should be getting for the coin that we spend per month, right? And how much we should spend in the raids to get everything we want, and how much we should spend for, I mean, we have a general idea of it because of how long we've been playing. And I think part of the problem is that they're leaving what we're comfortable with, that we've gotten used to, because now we're like, okay, we all feel like we're getting nickel and dimed. Everything is doing damage. Everything needs to be repaired. Everything needs coin. I mean, it's just that sense of overwhelming push or pressure to coin, or, you know, you're not going to get anything for free. I mean, that's kind of part of the whole undercurrent of why people are slowing down or stopping coining as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. Even if you do things perfectly, you're still fucked.
Mhm.
You know, that's part of the issue. Like, even if you've gone through, you've put the, you know, like, I'm not saying everybody should put together spreadsheets, but you put together spreadsheets, you tested things, you figured things out, you've refit a zillion times. You're still not at where we were before, as
Yeah.
far as, you know, doing all these things provides you a benefit.
I've done more work and I'm getting less return on the FM. Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
actually, Border Reaver and Chad actually mentioned something really good. He's like, you know, I bet Bounty makes more money than a raid does, right? Other than the last one. And, you know, I don't know about that just because of the sheer numbers, but here's what I would really like to see: what the per capita profit would have been between the two. Because if you have, like, you know, 5,000 people really participating in Bounty, and you made X amount of dollars, and then you have raid, which would have had an overall higher number, but you have like 30,000 people participating, but you only made, you know, like N number of dollars, which was less than Bounty. Then, you know what, as a company, you're like, I would be, hey, how can we do this? So, I mean, if Bounty's making more money, we should probably, you know, kind of focus on that and figure out how to make PvP great. Because if people are having fun, not only are you going to get money during Bounty, you're going to get money during the rest of the month too, if you balance that aspect of it. And that's something that you know, without seeing numbers, I would be really curious. Like, if I was doing the data and stuff there, just as a product person, I would be like, hey, per active player, how much did we make? That would be really interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think that just by alleviating the stress on repairs by adding a Conqueror repair queue into the base would sort things out. As well.
I would go with PvP. But go ahead.
Yeah.
You know, I'll bet you money if they try that 2-coin repair for your base guard, I'll bet you money that there's gonna be a lot of people coining that crap out. I would.
Yeah. But I think as well that, you know, if you put a PvP repair queue in so that you've got 2 repair queues, one for your PvE, one for PvP.
All the time?
Yeah.
I think it would alleviate a lot of the pressure, yeah. Because like right now, like I said, I haven't been on the game in for real in like 2 days. I mean, I pop in, I chat on chat every once in a while. I take a look at everything, but I'm afraid to touch anything because I need to get those hulls repaired so I can do something. I haven't even started my FM.
Well, exactly, but this is what I'm saying though. See, you can keep those repairing, but you can still play the game because you can repair your PvP hulls as well.
Separately, yeah.
Separately. So, you're still playing. And you probably, even if you logged off and let it repair for a few hours and then jump back on again and just coined half of it, you're still gonna be more tempted than you having to like stop that, coin the lot, and then start it back up again. Just in my opinion, I would, to be perfectly honest. I'll jump off for a couple of hours, come back and go, oh, what shall I do now? Well, my PvE stuff's still repairing. I'm going to go and hit some bases. Oh, it's still got a couple of hours left on it.
Yep.
That's all right. I'll just coin that. I'll go and hit some bases.
As opposed to now when I get on, I'm like, oh, I'm still repairing. I'm going to go watch a movie.
Yep.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, I got a question. It's totally changing directions, but I was just looking at the TLCs and the prizes and stuff. How many Cheetah scatterguns and how many Predator missiles can you have?
What do you mean, like the upper limit? I think it's 99, like everything else, right?
I don't know.
Is it not?
You could claim 30 of them each during the raid, and
Right.
then however many are available this TLC. That's all you can have for right now.
Yeah. I'm Grimace, are you asking how many you can have like all together if you got everything, or how many, like, is there a limit?
I'm basically asking if there's a limit on them.
It shouldn't actually. There shouldn't be a limit because I think inside. Because if even on the 99, let me see. No, yeah, it's no limit. It's just like the Gales and stuff. As many as you can get.
Okay.
Yeah, because it just keeps track of how many you have.
I was just going through all, tokens and stuff because there's limits on some of the tokens. Then I started questioning the amount of those special weapons we could have.
Right.
Because they've been getting sneaky with those limits.
I don't know what the hell is up with the limits on the tokens because, we worked so damn hard to get them to not do that crap on hull specific stuff. And here we are back again in the same bad area. This is something that doesn't sit well with players at all. I'm not sure what the thought process is behind putting a limit like that in there. I mean, like the Proto-Cent ones, you had a limit on the 3-day one. Why? I mean, if I'm gonna spend the coin or the time or whatever to get the points in the raid to get them, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, it's not only that though as well. If you went out and bought one of the Manticore deals, it's like I've got 15 tokens left from buying one of those Manticore deals. I've not been able to cash in any points in any of the raids. I haven't been able to cash in any TLCs to get tokens because it's above the limit cap.
You block your players from spending. Why would you block your players from spending? Like, okay, hey, I'm not going to do the TLC because I'm already maxed out on tokens. Well, how does that, benefit the company? It doesn't. It doesn't benefit the player. It doesn't benefit the company. I'm not sure what the thought process is behind it. I mean, yeah, hey, I can stock up a ton of tokens and like the icebreakers and stuff. But here's the catch, man. If you have someone that stocks up a bunch of those things and then a build comes out that's really cool, they're gonna actually be happy that they can go and refit this thing real quick and get out and participate in the game. And the benefit to the company is they're still playing the fucking game. They're engaged in the game. They're spending time on your game instead of getting up and watching a damn movie.
Well,
Just saying.
A lot of the same thing could be said about hull specific tokens. Get
Well,
rid of hull specific tokens and make everything a ship build
you
token.
mean overall? Yeah.
Yeah, build what the hell you want because you're going to play with what you want, not something that Kickstarter tells you need to have.
That one I can kind of, so I can see why they would want to limit generic ones, right? Because the generic ones, if you stocked up, like say the Greta whatever fucking dragon thing he's coming out, right, in the raid, and you've stocked up on a bunch of generic tokens, you're not gonna have any incentive. Like if they put in, Greta tokens in the raid for like 10 million a pop, you're not going to have an incentive to go after them because you have all those generics in there. You know what I mean? Like,
do you know anybody that can
see...
actually store tokens other than hull specific tokens?
What do you mean?
Right now, how many tokens do you have available in the non-specific, just ship tokens?
Generic tokens is what he's saying.
Yeah.
How many generic tokens?
How many generic tokens do you have?
Close to maxed out.
I have leading up to a raid.
I have one 12-hour token, ship build token.
I have one 12-hour ship build token. I have 2 1 days. I have 2 2 days, and then I have the chest to back them up because the raid's coming next week.
Yeah.
So I don't even know how many I have. I'm assuming I have 4 days, 6 days, 6.5 days, plus whatever my top level chest.
But this actually brings up a good point though, because like if you knew that you could stack out a bunch of tokens and like the Rampage report comes out and they're like, oh, we're going to change the FM and you're going to need the Greta and all of the crap, and would you blow the generic ones, or would you go, hey, I really want to do the FM and then I'm going to hold on to all of these to build the flagship when it comes?
Man, I tell you what, I build ships like crazy.
Well, I know, and that's the catch is you're not a typical builder either, because you get a bug to go, hey, I'm gonna go try this, and you're gonna go and build the damn thing, right?
Yeah, I got one 12-hour token left.
So I think the thing is that the generic side, on the generic token side, I think the reason why they have the limits is to preclude people from actually doing what we're doing and holding on to them going into the raid, because they have in the last couple of raids made tokens available, ship specific ones, for and the cost has gone up, right? So if I'm sitting on a bunch of generic ones, I'm not gonna feel the pressure or the incentive to go after those ship specific ones if I have a ton of generic ones. I think that's why they've kind of limited that.
This goes to your point that you're always talking about, George, and I agree with it. If you're having more fun, you're going to be willing to spend a little more, right?
Absolutely.
Don't curtail my interest by making everything a freaking specific token.
Well, I think they have to. Yeah, I think they have to have a balance between the two, right? And I think one of the things that I've said recently is that I'm really upset that they've taken the generic ones out of the raids. That is a bad move because it limits our overall amount of tokens that we can have in a year.
Just saying, but I would be happy to pay an extra 2 million points in a raid for a generic token over a token,
a whole specific one. Yeah,
absolutely.
So
yeah, because and that's something. Brum, I think actually me and you talked about this. Is that when they take away the generic ones like that out of the raids and they kind of protract how much we have over the course of the year, it's kind of putting us in a box. It limits our choices, right? Because you feel compartmentalized again and kind of pushed in a direction rather than having the the feeling of having freedom in the game that you're playing and spending money in. And while I do understand that they have to have a balance between the two, I do not understand why they're limiting the tokens overall, generic ones, the way that they have been, because our shipyard has not, like, there's been no relief there.
No.
I mean, in fact, it's gotten worse because I'm scrapping like newer stuff. Like I'm scrapping stuff that I still want to use, and I got to pick something to get rid of, right? Like I'm scrapping testing hulls. I'm scrapping a bunch of crap I don't want to, because there's just so much stuff that's coming out, like all the proto hulls and all that other shit. I mean, we need those generic tokens more than ever rather than less of them. And I know that the very first thing that they're going to be like, well, you have ship specific ones for the proto and this and that. Well, yeah, but I also have to do a lot of those in TLCs. I also don't have them available in every raid. And
if they want to make them specific, to me, make it by class. Don't give me.
I could kind of live with that. I think that's a good way.
1-day icebreakers and 11 6-day oppressor builds and blah blah blah. Give me siege. Give me garrison. Give me conqueror.
But then the only problem with that is we're going to see what they did with the which one was it? The siege one that they did. They limited to, what the hell was it? It wasn't siege. It was skirmish and siege were 99. No, those were both 99.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was on mute. Assault is
assault. Thank you. It was like 10 or something.
2.
Oh, it was 2. See, I mean, that's bullshit, and that's what I'm afraid if we because I like the idea, because then you can kind of be like, okay, well, I want to fuck with my ironclads instead of that. You know what I mean? That's awesome, but the problem is we're never going to see that 99 limit. We're going to get boned somehow, and that's the part I don't understand. I'm trying to figure out why they feel the need that they have to limit the tokens when they get into either a specific class or a specific hull, as opposed to the generics. I can make an argument for for having a limit, right? Like I can actually come up with a decent, legitimate argument for that. For the other one, I mean, class specific, yeah, they might be like, well, when we go into the next cycle, they can carry them over, and then they can just build out a ship, and we're going to lose the revenue from people that coin them early. And
that's stuck around for a year. I mean,
well, you know what? But the thing is, if we switch over to just the class specific tokens, you're going to have access to them more often. So I can kind of see why they would, like, I could kind of make an argument there that, yeah, you might want to limit those as well. And I really don't like the limits like that. So what they really got to do is find a fucking balance. Yeah, you know what? Give us because even the hull specific ones, right? You've got to do them in like TLCs. It's not like you're doing every single one of them in the raid. You're limited in how many you can claim in the raid. I mean, if you bust your ass in the raid and you want to be able to hold on to those things, that's your prerogative. That's your choice. You're the player, right? Don't limit them like that. Now, you know, the generic ones, I can see from a business perspective why you'd want to limit those. A class specific one, I can kind of do the same thing, but hull specific, there's no fucking reason. I mean, you're already making us pay for them to get them through either TLCs or raids or whatever. You know, there's
the reason is that the escalation weapons that have yet to come out for the Mana Core.
Well, again, it goes back to what Mike said. You know, it used to, you could either pay now or pay later, and now it's pay all the time. You're paying both.
Yeah, you're paying on both ends. But yeah. I mean, I understand the whole thing, because I understand why they introduced tokens to the raid.
And that actually makes that whole nickel and dime feeling even worse. I mean, people are like, oh, well, they want to monetize everything and da-da. And you know what? You can actually monetize everything and not have the feeling
monetizing everything. I mean, because I was the one that suggested it. This was like, this is the only thing I got done with Doomrister. My whole time with Doomrister was why shipbuild tokens were introduced into the game. Was because at that point in time, it was like, you get the weapon, you get the special, you get the basic call, and then you had to get another 40 million, right? It was a huge jump from getting the basic stuff to getting the flagship, right? And at that point in time, you know, a lot of players weren't willing to make that jump. They would just shut down at that point before they reached that. John, come on, mute yourself, or I'm going to do it. Okay. players weren't willing to make that jump because they had nothing in between. I've just accomplished all of this stuff, and I'm worn out. I don't want to deal with this anymore. And now we're going to make this jump to the next step as far as like, I got to get, I got basically 40,000 now, to get the basic stuff. Now I need to get
don't have
another
anything
40.
going.
Well, yeah, that's not helpful. Okay. Now we got
But
another.
you're going on a complete tangent of what.
No, but yeah, I was just getting distracted by all the noise, the background noise.
No,
But what I'm saying, the reason that the reason it's there was the reason it was even introduced to the game was so players had incremental amounts that they could get. That I could get this, I could get that. I could get, and that's why these things were brought in was so players could see a closer goal. They weren't seeing the flagship; they were seeing a 1 hour ship token or a 24-hour ship token. That's why they were introduced to the game at that point in time.
I was always under the impression that they were introduced because it was a band-aid to ship builds. The build and refit times.
That was a half-a reason. Back in the day when they listened to me. I'm quite familiar with that one.
All right. Because that's completely off what we were talking about, though, because I was talking about the way that everyone feels nickel and dimed on the costs and everything for paying, pay now and pay later, and the token, like that was a whole. I don't know how you went.
No, it's not completely off, because what I was trying to explain is why that was introduced to the game in general. It was taken away, but why it was taken, why it was introduced, it was just sort of an incremental way to get players to participate more in the raids. That's what I'm saying.
I'm still confused how that, like, I'm trying to tie it together with the feeling that players have of being nickel and dimed on everything. Like I'm trying to make the connection here.
But what I'm saying is the reason it was introduced was not associated with having greater capacity to build everything. The reason it was introduced was associated with the fact that players
build and refit times. Yeah.
No. It was the way they were structuring the whole. It's the way they were structuring everything. They were structuring everything so it was like, maybe somebody online can confirm my numbers. It was like 5 million for the weapon, 10 million for the special, and then 20 for the haul. And then then it was 40 million for the flag. And so a lot of players would stop after the 50, 10, 20, or 5, 10, 20, and then they would just stop. And I was like, okay, well, give them something to earn between those points in time before they earn the flag. Now you've given them this huge target of getting another 40 million prior to that. I mean, do you understand that?
I'm still trying to make the transition from where we were to how we got here, because usually you have a good bridge and like there's a reason we went here. I'm just not understanding why we're here.
I think it's to do with the bong and the 8 beers that he chugged whilst he was off.
No,
maybe.
No, I think it makes sense, but whatever. Go ahead, people.
No,
I only have 2 issues to speak on, and I'll wait my turn.
Go ahead, John.
No, go ahead, because your background noise is enough.
Oh, I have nothing on. There's nothing on.
I know, but it's Go ahead.
You hear stuff now? Okay. My first issue is the crying about the OPs with the 75% damage and bounty, that reduction, and that's been going on for 11 months. I mean, come on, nobody complained about it till now. That's pretty baby crying, isn't it?
About which?
having the 75% damage reduction on your OP. Now, the larger alliances came out with remove your gun off your turret, add armor, and you can redo it for 10 months.
Okay, and
now, all
no,
of a sudden, it's
and
not
that's
good.
no, and that's true, and we could do that in the past. However, we've had 2 additions in the armor pool that have changed how that mechanic now works. And now instead of being like a minute or 2 to kill the OP, it's now 4+ minutes, which is almost your entire base hitting time. There's a difference between the 2. That's why.
But turrets shoot confetti.
What?
I said turrets shoot confetti.
Well, yeah, I mean you're at death by 1,000 cuts, but the reason why the OP thing came up is because in the past you could still get by it if you got into the island quick enough, you could get rid of the OP. But now with the new, the 2 new armors, you can actually set up that OP where you're just not going to have enough time to kill it unless they put it on the outside and there's nothing else shooting at you.
Well, actually, the ones you're talking about were out 2 bounties ago.
Yeah, no, I've been running that configuration for a long time, and it works really well during bounty. Once you add the 75%, I mean, it's really hard to kill it. But yeah, that's really old news as far as I'm concerned. I mean, that's something that I'm not in a big alliance, and nobody told me. I just did it, and then it's worked, and I don't know. I mean, because those guns on the top don't make any sense.
But now it's an issue, see, and it never has.
Why is it an issue now? It wasn't an issue weeks ago, months ago.
I don't think the second armor came out until last bounty.
Yeah, but you could still stack enough armor on it.
You could stack it, but in the past you'd be able to knock it out, in under 3 minutes. I mean, if you actually knew that.
Yeah, but if you used if you used like the naval, was it the naval and the advanced lab?
No, I understand that, but the thing is, if you knew people were doing it, like if I knew you were doing it in your base and I could get into the island quick enough, I knew how to counter that with the hulls that I was using and get to the OP to kill it in time. Now, the OP by itself on its own can last for over 4 minutes. That's the issue. It's progressively gotten worse over time. The more they release, the more it's become an issue because it's taking longer and longer to do. And
it's
now,
because of the splash buffer and the reload
everything
buffers.
Combined. Yeah, the reload buffer
pen overlay, explosive overlay, all of the stuff that's been incrementally put in there is then now all added up so that it just takes longer and longer and longer to kill.
But the Conqueror fleets are still the Conqueror fleets that have been released, and they're not buffed.
So hence why, that's why I brought up that they have to rebalance the OP upgrades for bounty. So that was one of them. You said you had a couple other ones?
Yeah, the other one nobody mentioned, but I'm really upset with is why do I have to scrap fleets that cost $500 that are fully ranked, and I can't give them to a friend on my list who doesn't have them.
I kind of agree with this, but I think that your older ships, rather than sending them to storage, you should have like an alliance storage where people from your alliance, like lower levels, could take advantage of stuff that you no longer use.
That would be cool.
Exactly, that would be really good.
So have an alliance storage rather than still have a cap on it, the amount of ships that you can put in there or whatever.
Or even, since they want to monetize every damn thing, monetize that. Be like, hey, for 100 gold, you can get this dude's fleet, and he's going to give it up instead of scrapping it. You know, I mean, you can do something instead of just dumping the shit into the water. Because I mean, I'm scrapping. I'm scrapping stuff I don't want to scrap, and that frustrates the shit out of me.
And it's
maybe $50. I mean, we're talking low level players that probably don't coin much.
Well, that's why I said 100 coin. That's only $10.
Yeah. So, it's just a nominal fee, whatever, just make whatever. It's it makes sense just to, or you could put a slot in there so you can have your alliance pays in for how many dock slots that you've got in there, so you can put fleets in that people can use or whatever.
Or a shared dock where you guys can actually, someone can build a fleet and someone else.
Put it in
I
there.
don't know. I mean, there's a lot of stuff they could do. I mean, and instead they're concentrating on, using the GPU instead of the CPU for graphics. Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a Flash game. It's going to stay a Flash game. I mean, eventually it's going to go to HTML5, but guys, we got to make it there.
Yeah.
The way this is going, I don't know if we're going to make it at this point.
Well, thank you. Those are the only two real issues I had that weren't being addressed. Thank you.
Yeah, man, anytime. I mean, that's the whole point of the open mic. You come in and no one wants to hear my ass talk. I talk way too fucking much as it is, so I'm just frustrated and aggravated.
Why am I agreeing with you so much tonight, George?
I don't know, man. It's apparently I've gotten like 5 messages being like, say more and shit. And I'm like, I've talked my ass off tonight. I understand. I'm frustrated as hell, and apparently a lot of other people are too. I mean, shit. If this many people are all in agreement and all pissy, as a company, Kix has got to sit up and be like, all right, what's going on and how do we correct it? Because if you don't correct it now, it's just going to snowball. And people are just going to be like, fuck this shit. I'm not playing anymore.
I'm guessing the new FM target at least double damage of what we've seen.
No, I don't even want to think about it right now. I mean, that's the one thing I'm just saying. Like, I said something early this year, and the FM is the cornerstone of the game. Don't fuck up the FM, and they fucked it up a little bit. And I'm just sitting here going, oh my god, if they do it again all within the same year, I mean, people are still reeling from the changes to the FM as they are currently, and then they're going to touch it again. I mean,
well, yeah, because they said that they're going to tweak it every 4 months, didn't they?
Yeah, and I mean,
garrison raid.
And and it's good that they're probably going to be leaving the 117. Like, if they leave the other targets, that's great. But then the concern that I have is, okay, if you leave the other targets on the map, the only way that you can kind of manipulate that is increasing the costs to the prizes in the FM. And we're already getting inundated with a shit ton of stuff in the FM that we got to get a ton more points every week now already.
Yeah.
If you up that, and if you up that even more, because you have 2 targets that are going to pay more, more points and cause more damage. I mean, that's just a shitty cycle to go into. It just really is.
If it's just a trade-off between the points staying the same and the damage being a bit higher, but fairly relative, just as a time-saving measure, then I don't mind so much. But if they're going to tweak it so they put the points up, I'm going to be really pissed.
I've been doing 3 117s for 5 coins, and I get through my FM really quick now.
Yeah, I mean, we can all do that, but it's all relative to how much how much time people have, how much coin they're willing to spend, what level of tech they've got. Even, not everybody's got Inferno Dragons. All right, it's coming out in the next FM cycle, but still, they've still got to get there to get it.
With the limited stuff that they have in the FM now, and the points that you have to have. I mean, I think I think that's why that's probably another aspect why a lot of people are like, "Ooh, the raid's coming up way too soon," because we have a fucking raid a week now. I mean, the FM is slowly turning into an actual raid because you have a limited amount of time. There's limited prizes. No, this is not the path you go down.
I always said that when it first came out, their concept, and I thought it would be a weekly raid.
Well, if it gets to a weekly raid, there's going to be, weekly leaving of the game, I think. If not just a mass exodus. I mean, there's only so much people can, it is a game. If you're not retired, if you work every day, if you got shit to do, you're not going to be able to get on this game as often as they're asking you to, essentially, with what they're asking you to do. You just can't do it.
True.
So, yeah, I agree.
Well, I
as far as
spend,
the interaction
I
numbers
spend
and
between
whatnot.
$350 and $750 a month every month religiously. And I'm on a pension, which really cuts me a little bit on my living expenses. And you know what? I can't keep up with it.
It's just, I mean, I know there was a point where I was at $10 or less a month in the game, and I try to still stick around that, but it's not happening. You know, it's the cost of the game has slowly gotten up a little bit higher, and that really does it does just annoy the hell out of me. And I know everyone's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be bitching or whatever. Yeah, fine, I'm bitching. I'm a cheap bastard. That's how I come up with some of this shit, is because I'm just a cheap bastard. Right? I mean,
I don't see a thing wrong with that.
But see, I am the highest member in my alliance. I'm not an officer or anything like that. But if somebody gets hit in one night, I can spend $100 just hitting bases back and forth and killing fleets.
and that's how it used to be with a lot of people. And the problem is, it's where are you going to do, like, where do you fit that in now? You know, it's just, I don't know.
Okay.
2 docks would help. One for PvP and one for PvE, and they already have the mechanic.
Yeah, they only show 1 week or 4 or 5 days a month. Yes, that's true. So, what if it have anything to wind down with? I mean, people are bringing up the Savage Kodiak and the FM. I mean,
I'm gonna guess that they're exceptionally aware about what we've been using in the FM. I mean, I'm positive they know what we're using in the FM. So when the flag comes out, it's gonna have to do something that makes us want to use that instead of the Savage.
Yeah, it does have to be better.
Yeah, it's either gonna have the same, benefits or something, or I mean, it's gotta do something for the fleet. Otherwise, I'm sticking to my Savage.
What if they give it the ability to shoot down the booger missile?
Oh shit.
yeah,
I would build that. I would be building that the minute, like I would get it the first day of raid and be building that shit. Let me tell you what.
So
Rum, do you think they're going to call it the booger missile in the description?
Probably not. But hey,
Yeah,
I dig it. The booger missile. I mean, you get green shit all over you.
Yeah,
that's what I call it.
There still hasn't been a name applied to it, but yeah, I understand that. Yeah, it's. But is there any parting words or whatnot, or do we have more time left in us?
Well, I'd still like
It
to get
feels
some
like
ideas
we're,
on what's going on with the Proto Centurion. What do you mean? People got a good feel with it? Are they having any success with it?
So far, I'm disappointed with it. It worked good with the Bucks doing the 103s, the old targets, but adding that to Infernal Dragon and trying to do something with it, no.
Well, the Proto Centurion's the siege.
Yeah, it's against SRB.
Yeah. So it's not going to be any good for going with an Inferno Dragon, to be fair. But yeah, I'm kind of disappointed a little bit with it. I think we need to see some sort of armors for it in the Forsaken mission.
Well, the original Centurion was garbage.
Yeah, but the Protocent still is. It needs some sort of armors. I'm not. I've got a full fleet of Buccaneers, a full fleet of Hydras. I'm not going to strip the armors off of those in order to put them on a new fleet. So, put some charged armors in the FM.
Oh, you know what I'd like to see is the damn those engines. What the fuck do you call them? Shit.
Oh, the one they just nerfed?
The RFX?
No, not that one.
They didn't nerf it. Reducing the weight cost? That's not nerfing it.
The like the ballistic resistors and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The hydraulic resistors. Yeah, okay. What
do
you want?
The ones that were only limited to like 5 of them, and we already have them used on our regular fleets. I think it's the ballistic one was one of them, right?
Yeah.
And
there's one for pretty much everything at this point.
But we're only limited to 5. Like, I don't want to strip my other fleets that I already got built to use them on the proto fleets. I want to
Yeah,
see
exactly.
that come out. That shit should
Agreed.
go to the FM. But other than that, no, I'm done. I actually want to go eat. So if you're gonna wind it down,
Yeah, I don't see any, unless anybody has anything else they want to talk about. I mean, I think we're getting way too many not this week, but the previous 2 weeks. We're getting a lot of tokens for
Too
the
many
protos.
ships to build for me. That's all I can see. Good night, all. Thank you kindly for having me on. Goodbye.
Okay, later, John.
Later, John.
Take it easy.
But what I'm saying is that we are getting way too many tokens associated with the proto Centurion, the proto Tideseeker, to not think this is going to show up in the TLCs and really ruin people's days, associated with that, as far as what we're going to see in the future associated with the time limited campaigns.
Hey,
That's the part that worries me.
Not even that. I mean, I said it when we first saw the very first proto hull. What happens the next series? What's it going to be tuned to? The hull that was supposed to have for a year, and then is the one that we use in the lower targets, or is that going to just completely throw them all out the window? I mean, it's starting to look like everybody should be worried.
Yeah. I don't like the number of tokens that we're getting. It makes me think,
and that's even worse. Yeah, but that's even worse because who's going to be getting the fucking tokens? It's not going to be the players that are going to need them. It's going to be the players that want them. And that's all well and good, and that's great, but then you have this massive fucking divide between the have and have-nots, and then when the next series comes up or the next TLC comes up, you just boned everybody that didn't have them. So that's a really bad setup.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm worried about
game
that.
going.
I'm worried about that.
Yeah.
That's something that I'm worried about because they're providing so many tokens that it's like we're going to need them not just for the SSRBs, we're going to need them for the TLCs, and that's not making me happy because I'm not happy with them. I mean, they have not provided the player base any sort of instruction that like these are going to be this. The last instruction that we got was everything lasts for a year. Everything's highly relevant for a year. That's the last instruction that we got. At least I did. I mean, unless everybody's gotten additional instruction that I didn't get, but that's the scary part for me. So.
Yeah, the whole thing's just, I don't know. I think it's just it goes back to this. They need some people in there that are playing the game, that can see what's going to happen, people that are familiar with how the game works right now, and can kind of foresee how things are going to affect, the majority of players going forward, not just, your top end coiners, because you do want the coiners to coin. But at the same point, and I think almost all the coiners, all the big ones, have no problem with like, hey, we got the dragons out and we had like a month or two ahead of everyone else, and then you throw the dragons in the FM. I'm not going to give a shit, because you know what? I can see what you're doing to the targets, and I can see that if they don't have that hull, they're going to be fucked in the game. In which case, that means they leave, and then that means I'm not going to have other people getting up and catching up to us. And we're not going to have targets. Like, I need to interact with other players, not just the computer. Otherwise, I'll go play my fucking PlayStation.
Yeah, or you're gonna, keep on running your sim date thing.
My what?
Your sim date.
The fuck is a sim date?
The Japanese thing. Never mind. I'm sure you're not doing that.
Oh, I'm totally out of the loop now. Shit. Grimace laugh. Was it funny? Am I missing something? Is it a cultural thing that I'm missing? What the hell?
Sim date, like a video game date, like you're using VR, going on a date. Sim date.
Why in the fuck would you do that?
I don't know.
He's just poking fun at you, dude.
Oh, okay. Well, I missed that.
I'm just having fun.
I just laughed because I got it earlier. So
I missed it. No, I missed that one. All right. My bad. I missed that one. I didn't get it.
Okay,
Oh, well.
it's all cool. I'm not. It's not really a shot at you. You know, just sort of.
No, I know what you tried. What you had meant. I just didn't get the reference. So I kind of fucked up the joke. I'm sorry. My
No,
bad.
it's all good. But I don't know. I'm not sure that we have much more to say to anybody.
No.
I'm just sort of.
Well, if y'all want, you can keep going. But I actually have to drop. I have to go and get something to eat and get some stuff. So, everyone, thanks for coming and listening to like all this shit, and have a good night. Keep the faith, because I don't know what the hell is going on at this point. But have a good night, everybody.
Good night,
George.
Hey, George.
Later, George. So, does anybody have anything else to say, or we can go to, we can go to the after show.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, I posted a link on the right-hand side in case anybody'd like to join the after show. And, explore, what Magic Mike's been up to. Oh my goodness,
Exciting.
that's quite the story.
Oh yeah.
But I'm not sure we have much else to talk about for the live broadcast. So good night, everybody, and
Keep it real.
keep it real.
Later, y'all.
Later, people.